Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and this time we are going to learn how to repair a Hamilton Beach coffee maker. In this case it does not turn on at all, as we can see in the video, and I remind you that if you like my content, then like, comment, share, subscribe. If not, you have done it. Follow us on Facebook and TikTok if you want us to answer your doubts, because it is faster, because around here it can take up to 15 days to answer you, since they are quite a few and I dedicate a few hours, but I do not have time, and well, we remove the screws at the bottom. Since we remove the screws at the bottom, we remove the cover. The cover comes out quite easy. It is only pulled to the back and ready. With this we discover what the resistance is and we leave the card inside. This card we're going to test from wiring to all of its electronics. I'm going to completely disassemble this just for video issues so I can test more, and it looks a little bit better in the video. You don't have to take everything apart, so I'm just going to put what we have. What to do, because here we only have to check the wiring first. As I tell you, to remove this card only has a screw in the central part. It is not necessary to remove all the plastic and everything. I also remind you that if you want to become a member of the channel, you can do it in the description. If you want to make a donation, it is also very welcome, because that motivates us a lot, and also because it helps to have better equipment to record, and that makes the videos a little better. Well, look, that is the card when a device does not turn on. Nothing. The first thing we have to check is, you can tell that it is the source. Then here is the source, and this is what we are going to test. But obviously, first we are going to test the cable, since it can be even the simple cable and one is already putting other things, as we tried it with something in series. If you are going to do it in series, disconnect the card, and if you are going to do it with a multimeter, just check the continuity from pole to pole. Then in this case both are fine, so we are going to check another one. Look, to test it as a whole is to test a terminal on one side and test the cable on the other, so that you understand me. You have to check that it is not broken inside. You can also do the test by pulling the plug of the cable, because there are times that with heating and with the folds get to crack inside, then pulling hard you realize if it has an internal short, then just check that, and that's it. Here in this case I do several tests and everything, because at first I had given me like a fake, but I was quite well. But anyway, I wanted to make sure. I got excited. I said there is only the cable, but we are not going to have to put a little hand to the card. These failures are quite common but quite easy to repair. You invest about $1 to $2 the repair. Be careful, a technician is going to charge you more for his work. He also understands that he is not going to charge you $1. So look, here in this part you see overheated, where the diodes go to one side of the diode bridge. It goes in the Zener diodes. These Zener diodes, let's say, that only pass in the reverse direction. Well, you can look it up on the internet if you want to know the definition, but in this case, to check if a Zener diode is short, it is only enough to put the multimeter. If it marks continuity on both sides, that one is no longer useful here. This one here marked me. This one that was wrong, that was in short, already marked continuity on both sides. Then I decided to disconnect it, and we are going to test it. So you can see that I only disconnected it was going to turn on the card, not because it turns on. It means that you have to leave it that way, because it can be damaged very quickly. The card, you have to change it, as I tell you, costs about $1, and here as we can see, if it turns on and everything, then practically the fault is already. As I tell you, I disassembled all this so that the video would look a little better, so as not to be flipping. And all because it doesn't give me the camera frame, so now I have to change it. I'm going to leave the whole video of how I change it, because I've been told that I always short. Then I'm going to change this part. Discover, because of the rocket, that here where I live there is this party. Then well, let's check it, and here we have the Zener diode. In this case it is the 4147, it seems to me, and to connect it, if you look at the part of the card, it brings a triangle and like a wavy line that is from here, that indicates that for that side goes to the negative, and to the side of the triangle goes the positive. As you identify the negative side of a diode, because it is marked with a line, in this case with a black line, then the black line is stuck to the capacitors, because there it marks the line to weld. And that it does not fall open from the legs so that it does not fall by gravity, and to weld it use any type of welding that you use here as it is not high voltage or anything, there is no problem here, it is a very common here. If you see that it struggles a little, it is very easy to weld. What happens that when I am more aware of the camera, the truth is that it is a little difficult for me to see because as I am half blind, then I have to see very closely and it is difficult for me. So here it is when you see it from afar because there is more or less side trying to hit, but well, the joke is that you weld it and that's it. Look here, I'm going to make a little bit of a zoom so you can also see if you see any half damaged track or something, you have to repair it. If you see that it is inflated, repair it and do a good cleaning with isopropyl alcohol, because you have to clean it with isopropyl alcohol, because if you leave the paste yourself, that same paste will generate short. That paste will be that your card will even smoke then. And isopropyl alcohol, one of the properties is that it dries quite quickly and has no moisture or has zero moisture in quotation marks, and takes care of the components of corrosion because it does not have moisture. If you clean it with normal alcohol has a certain percentage of water, then the water, if it damages the electronic parts, and well, here as I tell you, just throw the little atomizations with isopropyl alcohol like here, and that's it. Look, with a toothbrush or a brush we clean that and that's it, and as you see the repair is quite you can easily save money. But also, if you don't understand any of this, I recommend that you better send it to a technician, because if you do something wrong you can damage the card, and now all that remains is to assemble the card from where I removed it. I already put together everything else. As I tell you, I don't show that because there is no need for me to disassemble it. I disassemble it so that the video would look better and to put a little more cleaning to all the cards. Be careful, only when disassemble it is assembled you have checking that the wiring or all the wiring does not pull them is too much, because they can be damaged since they are quite thin, and also that they do not stick to the resistor, because if not, when hot the cables will melt and it can be a short, or you can simply make the cable thunder and no longer have continuity. Now we put the back cap. This is to cover those that also the cables do not stick with the resistance, and that's it. Look, there it is. Well, practically that's all the video, and now it just remains to try it and ready. There it is. We connect it, we turn on there. Is there, and we check practically all the buttons that all the buttons do their function. If they do not do their function, then you will have to disassemble again and check now the buttons at the top. But here it seems that if everything is fine, you are coffee makers heat up quite quickly. These repairs are economical because the coffee maker is also economical. It also takes into account that the costs also depend on the cost of the appliance, not because the technicians say so, but because the spare part of each brand, even if it is another Hamilton, but of one more version, this premium, because it will be more expensive. The repair is not that its parts are compatible sometimes, but most of it is not. Here I am checking everything, and as we can see it is already, and well, I hope you liked it. If you liked it and it helped you, then like, comment, share, subscribe, and see you until next time. Ciao.